Here's what I did with the van. Not mine, the Astro van. Well, mine, old, ours, whatever. I disconnected the positive side of the battery. And I hooked it up. I'm not going out there. I got a few things I got to do in here still. And I'm trying to decide if I want to keep this or not. This is an old light. The battery is finally crapped out, and I decided to put a lighter plug on it. Because I just didn't want to see it get thrown away. I just don't know if it's worth keeping. Because it's nothing super. It's just a small light. But it plugs into a cigarette lighter plug, so that helps. But meanwhile, it's been hanging around for years. I don't even know if it works anymore. I hooked up the fluke to the battery. I disconnected the power side, the positive side, and then say, that's bright, but it's not super bright. It'll get you through in a pinch, I guess. And it's a lighter plug adapter, so. And I put it on amps, and I started checking the amp to see what's going on. And I had, it would fluctuate between a 1.75 and a 3.1. Now the 1.75 is high, because even if it had just the radio clock going on it, it would probably be somewhere around maybe 0.25 or something. It shouldn't be a lot. So with it hooked up, I started under the hood and the fuse panel there with the breakers and all that. Start pulling out all the breakers one at a time, and then I got to one of those monster fuses in there, and it was a 40 ampere, and when I pulled it out, bingo, no draw. So I looked on the back of the door, and it said lighting in general, lighting 40 amp. Now lighting isn't just one or other, it's basically the whole system, I would think, because they're not going to put a monster 40 amp fuse outside under the hood in the main fuse panel for, we'll say, just the interior lights or just the headlights, if you follow. So it's probably for the whole van. So okay, what the hell is that? Oh, okay, it's an ID. So I started going to each fuse to see if I can find a regular smaller fuse now, you know, under the dashboard, to see if any one of those would break it down. Well, it broke it down kind of to the headlight dome light section. So in the Astro van, it's got your little control, and for those of you who have Chevys, you know what I mean. You got a button for the interior light, so you can turn it on, off, or have it go on when you open the doors, or off all the time. You turn it on when you want, blah, 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 blah. Then it's got the on, parking lights, headlights, off, and then the dimmer control for the instrument panel. And even if the lights are off, when you start the van, the headlights come on. It's just a safety thing. Which I actually like. They have them on motorcycles as well. So I started playing with that switch, and I found that when that switch was on automatic, the button basically, so that when you open and close the doors, the lights go on. Well, I found that that switch, when it turned off, dropped me down to 0.20. Which is right about where it should be. So I'm thinking now that it's probably in that headlight switch, because I think that's all one piece. Or, there's an or here. The door switch on the driver's door, is it not getting pushed in all the way? And if that's the case, that can be the problem. Because it's looking to keep the lights on, but it's right at the verge to where it's not happening. And at that point, it could be shorting out someplace right there, which means I can replace the door switch. And I have tons of those around here. So what I did was I basically just turned off the automatic button, you know, for interior. If you want lights on inside, you turn them on. And we'll see what happens there. And I got the van running right now, but I'm going to go out and I'm going to put a charge on it and let it charge for a few hours, and we'll see what happens from there. Because the battery was down to like 10.9, so it wasn't going to start the vehicle. So I used the the relay switch that I have on my new van. Well, I had the same thing on the old van, but that used to have 2 batteries hooked up to it. Now it only has 1. The one that's hooked up to that is a deep cycle, and it's in the back up underneath where the spare tire would normally be. So, and if we get a flat, you know what? AAA comes out, they can either plug it because it's tubeless or tow it to get it fixed. I'm not going to worry about having a spare tire under there. Even a big van, I ain't going to worry about a spare tire. Either tow me or plug it. So, but meanwhile, I think that might be it. So I'm not sure. So I'm going to let it go. And then through the course of the week, we'll see what happens. And at that point, we will check the switch next week. If it's still acting up, I'll put a new switch in the door. And we'll see what happens from there before I go out and buy a whole new headlamp switch. You know, with the button. Because I think that's all one module. I'm not positive. So, and so that could have been the problem. Because like I say, this was happening periodically since I've owned the van. So, you know, I tried the power door lock switch. Remember that? I put a new alternator on it, new starter on it, you know, over the course of the years, because you can never find it. Well, now it's starting to act up a little bit more, so it gave me an opportunity of trying to find out where it is, and I think I'm on the right track now. Alright guys, I'll catch you later. Today is Sunday, by the way. It is, and it's 2:30, 14:30, October 7th, 2018 on the East Coast, and it's a nice day. It's not bad at all out there today. So I'm going to get it back out there and put the charger on the wife's van. I got to just do a little cleanup in my van because I've had a lot of crap going on in there, so I want to get all the crap out so I can see exactly what I have. I brought some crap in here. I got to program a radio, so I got to bring that in. I have an ICOM out there I want to program, and that's about it. So I'll be back.